I heard that the faith and all that said because the letter J did not exist in Hebrew, therefore the person of Jesus did not exist 2,000 years ago.
Someone said Jesus was born and he died, and that's what's important. That's not important. That's your ignorance. First of all, there was no one called Jesus 2,000 years ago because the Hebrews don't even have J in their language. What you have is a colonial God created by the colonial masters in their own image.
Let me break this down for you in 3 ways: philosophically, linguistically, and historically as well. I do not know whatever material you consult as your resources before you come outside to make such kind of claims, which is totally not it. Now, speaking of it intellectually and linguistically, I want to believe you do have an understanding that the claim, because there is no J in Hebrew, does not mean that Jesus does not exist or never existed, but simply a misunderstanding of language evolution. When we look at language evolution, the Hebrew dialect and ancient semantics language did not have J sound as it is known today. The name Jesus is an English translation of the Greek name Jesus, which itself is a translation of the Hebrew name Yeshua, a shortened form of Yehoshua. So while the letter J didn't exist in ancient Hebrew or Greek, this does not mean the person Jesus didn't exist. It simply means his name changed as it passed through different languages. J is simply a sound development. For example, in English now, the J letter was much more developed in 1600s. Are you there, sir? J was used to represent both the I and the J sound in Latin and other language. Over time, J took the hard sound we know it to be today. This is why linguistics change does not negate the historical evidence or existence of Jesus. It simply reflects changes in phonetics and alphabet usage over century. Alright? So, if I call God Osenobla, does it mean it's no longer God? It simply means the name changes across languages, does not invalidate the personality to which we're speaking about. Now, let's look at it from a philosophical point of view. The idea that linguistic variation invalidates someone's existence is logically flawed. The philosophical principle here is that the essence of something is more important than the specific form or name used to describe it. Just because the pronunciation of spelling of Jesus is different in various languages does not mean the person or historical figure never existed. It is that simple, sir. In essence, his teachings, his influences, his historical role remains intact, regardless of the linguistic variation that you are bringing into place. Alright? Look at Plato, for example, now, Socrates, Moses, these philosophical giants, they made their claim to this. Their lack of direct equivalence in modern phonetics wouldn't imply they didn't exist. The significance of their contribution remained regardless of how their names were pronounced in different language. And I believe you said you're a student of the Bible, student of the word as well. Let's go. I believe you have to understand that the Bible itself was written in different languages: Hebrews, Aramaic, and Greek. Understanding the scripture fundamentally helps to remove such a misconception from you about the name Jesus. Jesus in the New Testament was referred to as Yehoshua in Aramaic and in Hebrew. The name in Hebrew, this shows translation process. Even between the scripture themselves, Jesus was known by different names depending on the language of context to which people are using it for. His identity, his mission, his role as Messiah remains consistent despite the variations in his name and spellings. In the Bible, names and titles vary between languages. The Greek translation of the Old Testament and the New Testament itself shows the translation from Hebrew to Greek. English is simply 1,600 years old, and the Bible is much more older than English in itself. So, to everyone who thinks because the name Jesus Christ J was absent in Hebrew simply means the personality did not exist, it is wrong. When I, as an Hausa person, for example, now, when I say Yeshua, Yesu, or somebody in Zimbabwe, or somebody in somewhere in Asia, in China, calling in different names, does it mean the personality does not exist even there's a translation of the name? No. The importance here is the authority and the person of Jesus, not the specific proclamation or spelling of his name. You also spoke about him being a colonial god. Sir, it is well with you. All right, that's what I can say. The claim that Jesus is a colonial god built on the statue of Nebuchadnezzar is historically and scripturally unfounded. To say because it was on your paymaster, colonial masters, and things like that. Really? It is good, people of God, that we build our knowledge base, which is called the apologetics of the gospel, which is in the defense of the gospel, not just in the dialectics, the teaching of the gospel, or in the homiletics, the preaching of the gospel. No, we should arm ourselves with cognate knowledge, people of God. There is no connection to the historical Jesus, nor is there any evidence linking into colonial interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's status. Jesus' teaching versus colonialism teaching is totally unfundamental, has no basis, because Jesus' teaching was about simply love, peace, and salvation. People of God, the fact that we are Christians, God, let me say this again. There are over 15,000 manuscripts of the Bible in different places of the world. How is it possible for anyone now to go from place to place just to alter the manuscript that was written for over thousands of centuries before the compilation? Someone said because the Bible was colonized, the Bible is not. It didn't really know the meaning of the Bible being canonized. Someone said because the book of Asher, the book of Enoch, and other books were written from the Bible simply means, do you understand the meaning of consistency of thought in the revelation of the personality of Jesus? Please, sir, please, ma'am, go and do your research before you come out to misguide and to misrule people. And may the Lord himself help you in Jesus' precious name. God bless you.